And we are online, and I hope you can hear us nice and clear.
Hi, welcome to the weekly stream. Every week we do a stream alternating between Russian and English languages. When we speak in Russian, we've got our game designer with us. When we speak in English, we do not invite him, but we can make some jokes about him. The goal of the stream is to show you where the game is so that we can avoid all the questions about how soon it's coming out or whether or not the game is ready or not ready or halfway ready or so on. You will see where we are, and we'll talk about what happened in the past week. So in the past week, one of the things that we were working on was the map and the global map, where you travel, where you send people on the quests. The second thing we worked on was creatures. We keep producing new creatures and colorizing them. We also went through a lot of iterations with the secondary skill icons, and we discussed the schedule. We also killed one screen that you probably have seen before if you follow us on Discord. But we'll talk about this a bit later. So to begin with, there's over 3,000 people now on the game's Discord server, and we're kicking off a giveaway that's going to be in 3 parts starting right now and going for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can win art prints, you can win keychains, and you can win pins, all the little stuff that we've produced so far around the game. If you go to Discord, you'll see the details. I don't think you need to do anything except for register with the giveaway bot, which is a good thing. It's just all automated. The second thing, secondary skills. The new block is out on Steam. You can see every skill and the corresponding icon. The icons are not final, but close to being final. I think we'll make a few small changes and then that'll be it. The style and the precise size of these icons, we will do that later on. Right now we're focused on creating the symbol. So, what do we show for melee? It's pretty obvious, it's a sword. What do we show for streetwise? That's less obvious. And then there are some graphical challenges. For example, herding. We had some hard time coming up with an icon for herding, as well as for I think it was hunting, because first it looks like a lame rabbit hit by an arrow. Then you fix the rabbit, but the arrow starts to look like its tail. So you fix that, and you arrive into some monstrosity, and so you go and restart it from all over again. There's a total of 20 something.
25, I think.
25, yeah.
Around.
So there's 13 primary skills. 2 of them don't have any secondary skills. 11 have some. Some skills have just one. For example, alchemy has just cooking, and some have as many as 4. I think that's the case with artificing. You have jewelry, tailoring, smithing, and something else. So you can see all that in 2 days block out on Steam. The primary purpose of the secondary skills. So the secondary skills are narrow fields of expertise that your characters can get better at if they practice this specific thing, or if they are taught, or if they read a book that covers the specific secondary skill. For example, speechcraft. Speechcraft helps you in the situations where you negotiate or communicate with people in villages or towns or with non-humans. That's a very narrow thing. So having it will give you a success bonus. Not having it will not give you a success bonus. I see that the Steam event worked. So welcome all new viewers.
Yep. Should we remind for everyone who missed the announcement that we
The game
have
is not
a
coming out tomorrow.
celebration on our own that we have like 3,000 people on our Discord server who is waiting for a release of a game.
Not everyone is from my family or your family. So.
Almost
more.
all of them, but not.
Yeah. So we're giving away some stuff on Discord. If you're into collecting keychains or pins, then you may want to go and check it. Anyway, back to today's progress. Secondary skills are important for you when you start with low skill character. Someone who has a low skill in astrology but already has a secondary skill of hunting will be very successful in hunting despite the low skill. As you progress and level up, the character still has a benefit of the secondary skill because the bonus provided by the secondary skill is percentile based. It's not a fixed value. So it's not plus 500 to the success rate, but it's more of increase the success rate by 20%. The exact values don't matter because we'll be balancing it out in early access. In addition to secondary skills, what happened was, I don't know if you can look at the build, if you can move to, do we have the skill screen?
Without secondaries.
Yeah.
Right now.
Okay. So if you saw the build last week, then you saw a different placement of all the skills. We had this kind of a totally full screen with all the primary skills, all the 13 of primary skills. But we figured out that it is a problem. Since you start playing the game and you don't know much about your new disciples, you will spend some time discovering their skills, learning about them, discovering their traits. The game is an exploration of the world outside as well as the exploration of your own disciples. What are they good at? Can they be trusted? Are they lazy? Are they hardworking? How do they get along with each other? So I would say that's a half of the game, pretty good half of the game. And the previous screen made you think that, first of all, you have to discover everything about everyone. So you have 30 people and you will have to actually look at 30 screens and say, oh, you know, what is her herbalism? What is his artificing? And so on and so on. We thought that this is a nuisance because it's not really, you don't really have to do it. You know, you can use characters about whom you know very little and still you'll be successfully using them.
So basically we're trying to avoid this misleading idea of that you need to know everything about your disciples to use them properly. It's fine to not know something about someone and it's okay. You can find the like proper use for him.
You know, if you have a new disciple and he is good at teaching, and you need a teacher, so you just assign him to teach literacy. That's pretty much all you need from the guy. You know, there's no use in spending time putting up exams to discover whether or not he's good at battle magic. Maybe he's good at social magic. You don't need it. You know, as long as he fills the role of a teacher who increases the literacy of your other disciples, that is all right. So here on this screen, you can see that the stats remain the same. This is Uskira. She's got health of 10, which is average. You know, intelligence the same, memory the same. She's not very charismatic, so probably not a good teacher. She's got weak willpower and intuition. I would say this is not a great character, nothing to be excited at. So here's an example for you. Like this character, as a disciple, still may have some use. She's good with what? With concentration?
Yep, that's right. She has interest in it, so she'll be able to level up quicker.
Yeah.
In this skill.
So if I would be using this character, if I would not be rejecting her, then I would say, look, your stats are not very strong. I'm not going to send you using your travel magic. Maybe look at the astrology. She's 2 in theory, so maybe she will be good looking for animals around the spire and exploring the forest.
She has some base to work with.
Yeah. But I'm not going to, looking at the stats, I'm not going to spend any time worrying about her other skills. I'm just going to use her probably I would use her astrology and travel magic as far as she can go around alone in the forest. But
Yeah,
that's
actually, it's a good combination. So
oh, I mean, her stats put pretty good cap on, her becoming an excellent at something. So here you can sort all the skills, and you're able to see exactly what is the value. You can sort by theory, you can sort by practice, and you can compare different characters. This is us. Amazing intuition, really good. Willpower is strong, and is smart. Smart. This mage is smart. This is very good.
and
Now,
also he's a strong mage.
yeah, he's a strong mage, so he's got a lot of magic energy coming in, but he's got a weak stomach. So you'll have to find someone to cook good food for him, otherwise he will be unhappy. Now, jumping back to the schedule, which is what we've been discussing this week as well. The schedule is the same for the mage and for all disciples. The day is made out of 24 segments. You can call them hours, doesn't matter. What you see right now is an old system we've changed. We've made the decision to change it. So next week you'll see
We
a
are simplifying it, so we are just removing some of the blocks, but the main idea will be the same: 24 slots, and you can assign what your disciples will be doing in this specific hour. Only two things left.
Yeah,
they
we
can
thought
work or rest.
we thought you'll have to tell them to eat, sleep, but then we decided, look, each character needs different sleep time. So what I'll do is you'll say work or free time. In the free time, they can sleep, they can socialize, they can eat. In the free time, they can also pursue their own interests. So they can go to the library, and if there's a free space, they can sit down and read a book. They can go to the classroom. If there's a class going on, then they can join the class and study. They can go to, I think, meditation room, but we're not letting them go to alchemic studio or lab because all of those things require resources, and it's not going to be very good for you if someone on their free time goes to the alchemic studio and basically wastes all of your valuable resources and ingredients on trying to produce something. So here's the library. Yep. The thing about the schedule also is that you will tell a character to work, but if the willpower is low, then the character may just skip that and go instead to the mess hall and eat. If you tell someone to work a long time, but that person, like this girl, Uskira, with a weak willpower, and she's also sensitive and she's covered, so it all makes it quite likely that if you will try to push her, then she will not really work. Then you'll see a little indication that there's one or more disciples who are not doing what they should be doing right now. Now, whether or not you can push her, it's up to you. So we don't set any limits on the schedule. You can say 20 hours of work, 4 hours of rest. Good luck with that, People will get tired. When they get tired, the success rate goes down. They'll start making mistakes, and pretty soon you will regret it, and I think you'll go back to a more or less normal schedule. Now we're back to the global map, and the global map is going through improvements every week. This is still pretty much the main focus of Rita's work. She's adding different biomes.
Our department is hard in work with this global map. Currently there is updates for hills biome, for swamps. There is a preliminary sketch idea for a swamp area. We have improved the proportions for mountains, for ancient forest, for a regular forest. Added this nice fog.
I call
and
it
mist.
fog. Yeah, man. It's not a cloud really. It's a
No,
fog.
it's not, definitely not a cloud, but it adds nice mood to the map. It's not like happy place to walk around. It's more like mysterious forests that you can find some secrets in it. For example, this perfect Tasluk wandering around in the forest.
Yeah, my problem actually with using these icons and animals is that the icon is overlaid over the animal, over the creature.
Yeah,
so I don't
we
really
will
see
need
the
to
creature.
align it properly.
Yeah, kind of move them out. But the forest in the fog looks great. I can't wait to see all the dangerous biomes in the east, which would be distorted lands, because those are really like looking crazy. Got a little bit of mountains up there, unpassable. So, as we discussed before, a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. And then lots of creatures. We are still a few weeks away from finishing the map. If you want to know why developing this game takes some time, a couple of years, it's because of that. Every week this art takes weeks because it has to look good, it has to be functional, it has to fit together, and then every time you start a campaign, it generates a new map. So we're not making one map, we're making assets to build all sorts of maps.
Yeah, so we need to align all these puzzle pieces together so it looks good, which is kind of difficult.
I think this is the 5th or the 6th time we're trying to do the global map, and this time we're good. I mean, this time...
Yeah, it's the last time we're doing this map.
Yeah. No way we're doing it again.
There's
no way.
no time for...
There'll be new stuff. I mean, eventually we'll have new
Yeah, we will
biomes
be
and
improving this version, but not redoing it.
Could you show a
from
little
scratch.
connection with the hills, with the plains? So there's one biome which, when you zoom in the Wikipedia, for example, encyclopedia, you see flowers, red flowers. Yeah, here.
Let's go to
yeah,
Wikipedia,
here.
planes. And
So-
here's illustrations that will be used in a wiki and also in the quest reports.
This is a sketch. This is not final. Like, this is what you see right now is a sketch, right? And let's just jump back. Yeah, okay. So we've thrown in the same red flowers on the global map to make the connection stronger. It's all about little things like this. You look at them and you think, how can I connect the two things even better? And then you do this. The water is not final at all. As many of you have pointed on Discord, it looks a bit out of place, and it does. And this is the very, very, very slow scrolling of windows that we have in the build.
It has low priority, so maybe
So
later.
Here's the connection. I mean, look at the forest in Encyclopedia. It's a bit foggy. And then look at the forest on the global map. Maybe you could say that it's a different shade of green. And I will agree with you. I think the shade of green in Encyclopedia is a bit closer to blue.
Yeah, it's
then-
much colder.
Yeah.
But to keep the balance of a global map, so all these biomes align nicely with each other, we need to...
Oh yeah, because if
to
you
make
change
some
that, it'll be on.
adjustments.
Okay, sure. Okay. Now let's go to maybe some creatures if we have them in the game. Maybe not.
We can go to real-time board and show our progress with them.
Yeah. So to remind, at the moment we're colorizing a few new creatures. You may have seen them in the concept form, and now you'll see them being colorized. Are we showing already the board?
Yes,
This is live? Okay.
Everyone should be...
So this is what? What is the name of the
Tree Bleeder.
Tree
It's
Bleeder.
a tiny rhomboid creature that sticks to the tree trunk and sucking out the juice of a tree. And during the dry season, it lacks food, so it's hungry, and it can attack small creatures or even humans. Like, it can fall off the tree on top of your head.
A
So
bit like the ticks that are
Yeah,
a nuisance. Alright. So here we have different coloring options, and if you want to know how the process works for us, then once we finish the concept, we progress to line art, which is still black and white at that stage, and then from there we progress to choosing different colors. That involves 3 artists, so a discussion group. One person is doing the work, and then everyone else is
yeah,
commenting.
it's just like a joke.
Then a
How
game
many
designer.
people you need to screw a bulb, right?
Well, I mean,
At
how
least
many?
3 here.
How many artists do you need to color a creature? 1 does the work, 2 give comments, and take the opposing position. So yeah, that's the progress there. Then we've got the tree.
Wood Whipper.
Yeah.
The cursed human being that was transformed into something
Is
that
it
looks
this
like a
being
tree.
or like the children of that being?
Yeah, it's a children of a human who was transformed
Into
to
a tree.
Yeah.
For the life of suffering.
so-
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind being transformed into an olive tree as long as I'm in the.
But without suffering, right?
Yeah, people will take good care of me. I will give them olives, and as far as I recall, there was a law in Mediterranean, the ancient law that cutting down an olive tree is punishable by death. So most olive
So
trees are hundreds
you'll be
years
good.
old. Yeah, I'll be safe. I'll be like for 1,000 years. I'll be
Okay,
maybe
sounds good.
not very pretty, but pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and also interesting thing about these wood whippers, they have some ancient knowledge that's transferred from their parents. So if you're good to them and you help them, they will exchange knowledge for your help.
Or
I
if you
think.
send someone to chop them down and then call them back, and then someone else comes around and says, "Well, that was a bad mage. I'm from the good mage." So, can you tell me
Lying
something?
always works. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So this is it. Also, lots of options to color. Here you can see
Giggler.
the colored things are called overpainting. It's how artists work with each other.
Yeah, all the scribbles and lines just show what we need to change and how we need to.
Shows
change
that people know how to draw. If I comment on something, I just add a text box and say, "This looks good," or "Can you make it a bit bigger?" For those of you who are late to the party, who missed the discussion of the concept for this creature, we were looking at different animals, including hyenas. And someone made a comment saying that, this creature looks really strange, even though we're talking about the world of Ruin, right? So we looked into research projects on hyenas and into all the, if you want to broaden your horizon, I suggest you Google for the Hyena Project, which documents the life of hyenas in Africa. And then you ask the question, how do they reproduce? And can you tell a male hyena from a female hyena? And that'll send you on a into a pretty deep rabbit hole. Then you come back to this board and you say, well, that's a pretty normal creature. At least it's
Looks
not as
fine.
yeah, it's not as crazy as hyena. This is a common thing.
That's right. So yeah, it's second iteration, and we decided to make it dark blue fur color and more or less pinkish skin. So it will have this.
And it has some juicy meal in front of it.
Yeah, and it will be even juicier in the next iteration.
But I don't
So-
get, because my kid right now is going through anatomy, so I'm very familiar with the different stomas and livers and spleens and kidneys and bladders. And when I look at that, I'm like, okay, that's probably a mid-sized creature that has probably even doesn't have a spleen, but it's all fine, it's all good. Now this creature, Black Paw,
Correct.
they live in the groups.
In the burrows or in the tree trunks.
They steal stuff from people.
Yeah, they are night creatures. They live together like in small groups, and they're interested in probably some shiny stuff that can steal and bring to their lair.
So if you have a group and the group has a skill of survival, someone in the group has a skill of survival, secondary skill, then that group has a higher chance of camping properly and avoiding events like getting their stuff stolen. If your group does not have anyone with a survival skill, and if their travel magic is weak, then traveling through the forest during the season, they have a pretty high chance of getting their stuff stolen if they enter the area where black paws live. So this is to connect the creatures with the secondary skills. All those secondary skills, they all are there for a reason, and they will influence certain events happening to you. Now, can you check how many participants for the giveaway do we have?
Sure.
It's like 1, no, 2.
Loading.
Qfasa, or game designer,
It's 38.
Oh yeah, it's 38, and we're giving away, what, 12 things? So that's 1 in 3 chance. Yep, 12 winners. We're mailing stuff around the world. It'll take some time, but it will come through. The next creature is, which version did you guys like?
We're leaning towards version number 7 because it's much more visible and saturated and interesting to look at, not just like muddy colors and that's it, but it'll be a little bit more subtle.
Yeah, because it looks a little bit like a tropical thing.
Yeah, For now, it's just too saturated.
Oi, how do you move up?
Yeah, sure.
I think my favorite would be 3, but then 3 would be too common. Yes, 1 is also good. So here, look, guys. Here's an example. 1 is good to me, and 2 is good, and 3 is good. 4 is not good to me. 5 is good, and then 6 is good. But the benefit of having lots of artists in the team is that they can say, well, this is good but not good enough, and this is good but not against the background, and this is good
Yeah,
but
it's
not in
always
every
important to put it on a real background where this creature is living.
waterfronts and swamps, right?
Hmm?
This is waterfronts and swamps where they live.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, so they should kind of what? They should adopt
They
to the
blends
blend
more to the swamp and
Uh-huh.
is more visible on a clear water. So if they live on the mud, inside the mud,
They can cause you some damage, but not really kill you, right? Unless you're
only if
weak.
you're already sick and you're like
Wounded. Okay, if you're already suffering and you've got some damage. then
if
it's
your group left you alone on a swamp, probably you can die from these creatures. Yes.
fine. Okay, or if you send a character without survival going through a challenging area, then that character will, have all sorts of events. So again, for us, the beauty of the game that we're building is not in one killer feature or in one main experience, but it's in building the world with lots of things, lots of events, lots of creatures, lots of small things to happen, and then letting you discover it so that every person will have a different story, and when you replay, you'll have a different story. This is why we focus so much on building the event system, on building the auto-generated global map that'll be different every time you launch, and so on. And one thing I noticed when I was playing Into the Breach is how much content is. Into the Breach is an amazing game. I totally love it. And one of the things that bothers me there is that there's a lot of content locked. So you have to work hard to unlock that content, like new squads. And I'm not sure a lot of people access that content. So that's a content that's not enjoyed by most folks. We would like to avoid this. We don't want to make it necessary for you to replay the game. We want to have most of the stuff available when you start a new campaign, but there should be enough stuff so that a new campaign is different from the previous campaign and different from previous campaign and so on and so on. Now, I don't know, the last thing we want to talk about today, probably what? Schedule. Well, the next week's block will be dedicated to schedule. We'll still have to finish today. That's lots of wood, of course. That's a forest.
Yeah. We was planning to improve interaction of disciples with some environments. For example, we wanted to implement. We are working on implementing weather event. And it will be like our base to work on overall interaction with the world, how decision making will be made.
If you haven't seen before, one of the open positions that we may fill if we find the right person is someone to help our game designer script the events. And I think the task right now is scripting an event called Thunderstorm. So a thunderstorm happens and a group of disciples does something, and this part of the script is responsible for explaining what's going to happen when the thunderstorm hits a party. So it's all about systems. I mean, we're good at designing systems. We're not good at telling stories, for example. We don't think we're great storytellers. We don't think we're great, technical team. There are teams that do much more brilliant work technically. We're not going to ship on Nintendo, for example. We're probably not even going to ship on the Macs. We're just going to focus on Windows. But we think we're really good at building systems, and this game is all about systems and having those systems balanced with each other and having an open-end system where we can throw in more stuff during the early access stage. So that's pretty much our approach. What else? Finally, we have those little dotted lines instead of railroads. I can see clay. I can see skins. Is it force or is it skins?
It's hide.
Hide. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's hide.
So they'll be required for different kind of equipment.
With so many,
gloves and
with so many resources, it looks like an economical strategy. Yeah.
yeah, for now we have like tons of resources around.
Build a village, build a sawmill, start exporting stuff, get paid, hire an army.
We'll leave it for modders to work with.
Yeah. I hope still someone does a mod based on the Malazan Empire. If you're familiar with the Malazan Book of the Fallen, I would love to play a game in that setting, but I don't want to be the person making it because it's so deep and layer upon layer upon layer. A chest with the crossbow.
Yeah, while we was talking, I've sent expedition to explore old ruins, and they have found a chest with some old crossbow and bolts, with
Some
a nice
fiction.
book. George, who they called Tasluk,
Okay.
after Devin in Ministriel, and some rare book.
Recipes from the meat of intelligent creatures. Okay. So that's a pretty rare book, right?
Yeah, and it'll help us to improve probably on
Let's see in
Let's
the
see.
library.
oh, we have a lot of books already, so we won't be able to find it. Okay. We'll
It's,
find
it's,
out
it
next
should
time.
be alchemy. It should be alchemy. So that's
Yeah.
that's a book about cooking. Go down, go down. I think
Here
it's
it is. Yes.
oh, okay. Level
Yeah,
3.
It's
Do we,
level
do we
3.
have something even better?
Yeah, but I cannot scroll.
Ah,
of course.
okay. Precise alchemy. Okay, and the other book is
Same.
also precise alchemy. The best recipes.
Same.
Okay, the same. At this time, there's about 400 or 300 different books in the database of the game. 2. Okay, 2. I'm dreaming. But we still have to brush up the English translations. That's something we've been delaying for a time. It's pretty messy right now in terms of texts, not to mention Japanese and Chinese, and Russian is sometimes with mistakes, so we'll have to work on this some other day. All right, if anyone has any questions right now, feel free to post them here or on Discord. And if not, then we'll just wrap this, and we'll see those of you who participate in the giveaway channel, and everyone else, go read the blog which we posted today, and see you next week. Every Friday we do a stream to show you the actual development work and development process.
Yeah, we gladly read your feedback about our process and what we have currently and what you like, what you don't like, because it's really important to know to be connected to our players and to understand in which direction we're going and what you're expecting and what we are doing and how it aligns or not.
We're building a system, so in that sense, any feedback is good. We're not going to take someone's suggestions and just change everything based on that, but the same applies to all of us. Early access release. I would say this, that we wanted to launch the game in early access last year in May, and it became a joke that May is the correct month, but the year is wrong. So right now we're more or less thinking about May this year. Right now being February, that gives us another 3 months. I would say not a month from now, but 3 months looks more like a realistic scenario than not. Probably should do it before the summer, because summer will be pretty dead in terms of revenue, and we're a self-funded studio, so we'll need that.
Yeah, so we have some goals and we need to...
Yeah, we have some good stuff and bad stuff pushing us to launch not later than May. And at this time, this is it. But, every week you can see whether or not this game looks like a game that's coming out in 3 months or not. That's pretty much it. If you have a time, give us some feedback on the secondary skill icons in today's blog. It's published on Steam. There is a total of 20-something icons, I think 27. We went through a lot of options to try to make them obvious. Just take a look. Whether or not Streetwise looks like Streetwise to you, and whether or not Disguise looks like Disguise to you. Just keep in mind that these are the symbols. This is not the final color or anything else. It's just the symbols, the concept. And the goal is to make you recognize the secondary skill without reading the tooltip. And please keep in mind that this is ruined. So any suggestions to use, heart rate monitor to
Yeah, we need to keep it in our setting.
yeah, or stethoscope to show diagnostics. They're not really working. I know there are games who don't care about this, but we care a lot about that stuff. And so we want to show diagnostics in a kind of a way that links to the
We
other
need to keep
character
this
states.
immersion even in this simple interfaces.
Yeah,
If it's just to show you the experience you're gaining, it's not really the real something that you should work with, but it should feel proper for this
You
work.
know, one of the dreams, I don't know if you guys saw or played a game called The Scroll of Taiwu. It's a Chinese developed game, available in Chinese only, but there's an English mod being created right now. So Chinese being very precise and very concise, they don't really need icons because most of the skills are just 2 characters long. So you can just write the name of the skill and be very clear about it. If we would be making this game in Chinese only, then we can find a name for each skill out of 2 characters and that'll be it. But since this game is coming out in 7 languages, we have to create all the icons and lots of visuals to make you navigate it. Also because there's a lot of stuff, 6 stats, close to 50 different traits, 13 primary skills, 27 I think secondary skills, something like 20 something states, which would be wounded, having illness, being depressed and hungry and so on. And
So
then there's all the
systems
creatures
need to come together
and
work.
not overwhelm you. So we want to show you the sluk and an icon meaning that you can hunt. Rather than write the sluk, you can hunt, and then you need this and that. Anyway, thanks for sticking with us. We'll see you next week, next Friday, for another issue of Block, which will cover scheduling in the Spire, and for another stream, which next week will happen in Russian. See you around.
Yep.
And
Thanks
you
for
know.
watching. The recording of the stream will be available on our YouTube channel, and we'll post a link to our Discord server, and link also available in our blogs.
Whatever works for you. I mean, we don't really have any preferred channel except that we push the blogs on Steam and we run the streams here, and then we just save it to YouTube, post the link to Discord, also share it on Twitter.
A lot of social channels too.
We
to
gave
connect
up
with
on
us.
Instagram because it was too I kept forgetting about Instagram, and we do have an Instagram account for the studio, but it's been a long time since we used it. We also don't visit Facebook much, but at least once a week I go and post the update for the blog. But mostly it's either Twitter or Discord or Steam forums, of course. And I think that's pretty much it. All right. Guess
Yep.
this is it. Yep. See ya.
Thanks
See
for
you later.
watching. Bye bye.
Ciao.